Hey, kindergartners, it is Mrs. Brousseau, and I am here to talk to you about another text set of books and to read one of those books out loud to you. So, the text set that we're going to talk about today is called Celebrating Differences, and it has 5 books in the set, and all of those books have messages about um, making sure that we know that we're all special and we're all unique and we all have certain things that we're really good at and other things that we might not be so good at. And the messages in these books are to accept that about ourselves and about other people and to recognize that it's better to be yourself and to be unique, and it's also better to live in a world that is filled with different types of people who have different strengths and different things that they add to our world. So I want to talk to you about each book in the set. This book is called It's Okay to Be Different, and it's by Todd Parr. We read another book by Todd Parr recently, and that one was about feelings. So you might recognize these illustrations that Todd uses in his books and the way that the colorful print looks. That's something that is very typical in Todd Parr's books. So the message in this book is that it is okay to be different and that you are special just the way you are and that everyone is different in some ways. So that's an important message in that book. We're not going to read that one today, but I wanted you to hear about the message. This one is the story of Ferdinand. This is one of my favorite stories. I'm not going to read this one to you today, but I hope that if you've never heard the story of Ferdinand, that you will look for it. It was made into a movie. So you might have seen the movie, or maybe you can see the movie with your family, or maybe you can find the book or somebody on the internet reading the book so that you get to hear it. So the message in this book is it's okay to be yourself and not to do what everyone else does. So if you don't know this story, Ferdinand is a bull, but he is a bull who prefers to hang out smelling flowers instead of fighting like most bulls. So he's very different, and in this story he learns to accept that and to just be himself and to do what makes him feel happy and not what he's expected to do because he's a bull. This book, The Cow That Went Oink. I'm not reading this one to you either, but it's a great story about a cow that says oink, and in the story that cow meets a pig who says moo. And they are not accepted by the cat. This cow is not accepted by the other cows because they think it's strange that he oinks, and the pig is not accepted by the other pigs because they think it's strange that he says moo. But the cow and the pig become friends and they help each other. The cow teaches the pig to say oink, and the pig teaches the cow to say moo, and now they're extra special because they are the only animals on the farm who are able to make different sounds than what they are expected to. So that is a great story about friendship and about learning something new and how that makes them extra special. This is Big Al. We read Big Al and Shrimpy at school. I don't know if you remember that. We read the story of Big Al and Shrimpy. Well, this one is Big Al, and Big Al has a very hard time making friends because he looks scary. So because of the way he looks, the other fish are afraid of him, and so then they don't accept him and they don't want to be friends with him. But in this story, Big Al saves some fish from danger, and they learn that it's really more important to choose your friends by their actions and how they behave and what they do, and not based on how they look on the outside, which is such an important message, a really important message for us as humans. Okay, the one that I'm going to read to you is called Leo the Late Bloomer. This is one of my favorite stories, and it's about the character named Leo. Looks like he's a tiger, and his name's Leo, which is kind of fun because we have a friend named Leo. So Leo, the Late Bloomer, is about a tiger who his parents are kind of worried about him because he doesn't seem to be able to do the things that other tigers his age can do. And so they're kind of worried about him, and he feels kind of sad because he can't do the things that his friends can do and that the other tigers his age can do. And so the message in this book, it really is that we're all different, we're all unique, we all learn at different times, at a different pace, and that is okay. We don't all learn the same things at exactly the same time. So that is what this story is all about. Leo the Late Bloomer is by Robert Krause, and the pictures are by Jose Aruego. Oh, Leo looks so sad. Look. Leo couldn't do anything right. He couldn't read. He couldn't write. All these other animals are writing their names. Owl, elephant, snake, plover, crocodile, and when Leo tries to write tiger, it's just a squiggle. He hasn't learned how to write it yet. He couldn't draw. He was a sloppy eater. And he never said a word. So the owl is saying hoot, and the elephant is saying thump, and the snake is saying hiss, and the plover is saying pip, and the crocodile is saying crunch, and Leo isn't saying anything. "What's the matter with Leo?" asked Leo's father. "Nothing," said Leo's mother. "Leo is just a late bloomer." "Better late than never," thought Leo's father. So sometimes we use the expression late bloomer to talk about people who take a little bit longer than most people do to learn how to do different things. So that's what it means to be a late bloomer. Every day, Leo's father watched him for signs of blooming. And every night, Leo's father watched him for signs of blooming. "Are you sure Leo's a bloomer?" asked Leo's father. "Patience," said Leo's mother. "A watched bloomer doesn't bloom." I think that's Leo's mother's way of saying, just try not to worry and just wait patiently. So Leo's father watched television instead of Leo. Except he's not really. So the television's over here and he's peeking around and watching Leo. The snows came. Leo's father wasn't watching, but Leo still wasn't blooming. The trees budded. Leo's father wasn't watching, but Leo still wasn't blooming. So you can just see that Leo is just not doing the same things that everyone else is doing. Then one day, in his own good time, Leo bloomed. Oh, did you see the change that Jose made on Leo's face? Throughout the rest of the book, Leo's face looked so sad, and now it looks really happy. What do you think Leo will be able to do now? Can you think back through the story of all of the things that he hadn't learned yet? That's a really important word, yet. Didn't mean that he was never going to learn it or never going to be able to do it. It just meant he couldn't do it yet. Then one day he bloomed. He could read. He could write. You see that's fancy L-E-O, Leo. Not only could he write, but he wrote it really fancy and beautifully. He could draw. He ate neatly. He also spoke. And it wasn't just a word, it was a whole sentence. And that sentence was, I made it. So I love that story, and I love its message. And I want to share that message with you because as a little kid, sometimes it feels like all of the people around you can do things that you can't do. And it's so important to remember that word yet. It's important to remember that things that you can't do, you just can't do them yet. But if you keep practicing and keep trying and be patient with yourself, then eventually you will be able to do all of those things that you want to be able to do. So be patient with yourself and know that we don't all bloom at the same time, just like flowers don't all bloom at the same time. So thank you so much for listening, and I will see you next time.